Hello there. Today we're going to be doing something a little different than usual, and we're going to be reading some r/NoSleep over some gameplay today. I hope you guys enjoy, and if you do like this kind of content, please let me know in the comments below so I can upload more videos like this. The first story we have titled here today is The Photo Album That Won't Leave Me. It all started last week when I found a hidden attic in my house. I lived here for years, but I had no idea it existed. The entrance was hidden behind a panel in the closet of the spare bedroom. I was rearranging furniture when I accidentally knocked the panel loose. Curiosity got the better of me, and I climbed the narrow stairs to take a look. The attic was mostly empty, just a few dusty boxes scattered around in the corner. Though I found something strange, an old photo album. It was covered in a cracked leather. Pages were yellowed and fragile, practically falling apart. It looked like it hadn't been touched in decades. Flipping through it, though, I felt unease creeping in. The photos were black and white portraits, but the subjects didn't look right. Their faces were frozen in expressions of fear, their eyes wide, staring directly at the camera. Some figures had distorted features, blurry faces, limbs that just seemed too long, or unnatural shadows behind them. Gave me chills, but I couldn't stop looking. Then I came across a picture of my house. It was unmistakably the same house, but the photo was dated in 1903. In the image, a crowd of people stood outside, pointing at a second-story window. At first, I didn't notice it, but the window, there it was, a shadowy figure. His face wasn't clear, but I could make out the glowing eyes. The longer I stared, the more I felt like it was staring back. I slammed the album shut and left the attic. My heart was racing. I wanted to forget all about it, but I couldn't. That night, things got worse. I heard faint noises, creaks in the floorboards, whispers I couldn't quite understand. I told myself it was just my imagination, but the whispers grew louder. Then they said my name. The next morning, I woke up to the nerve to go back to the attic. I wanted to convince myself it was all in my head, that the photo album was just some creepy old artifact. But when I got there, the album was open, lying in the middle of the attic floor. It hadn't been there when I left it. My hands shook as I flipped to a photo of my house. The crowd was still there, but the figure in the window was gone. Since then, things have escalated. The whispers hadn't stopped, and now they just don't come at night. I hear them in broad daylight, faint but insistent, always just out of reach. Sometimes I can almost make out words, but I don't want to listen too closely. The floorboards creak as if someone is pacing right behind me, even when I'm completely alone. And the shadows, I can't even explain the shadows. They move in ways they shouldn't, darting across the walls when there's nothing there to cast them, seeming as though they have a life to themselves. I tried locking the attic, but it didn't help. Yesterday, I found the photo album on my kitchen table. I never brought it downstairs. The photo of my house was still in it, but now the shadowy figure was standing on the front porch. It's getting closer. I've thought about leaving, but I'm terrified. What if it follows me? What if leaving makes it worse? This house feels alive now. It's watching me, waiting for something. I can't shake the feeling that whatever I saw in that album isn't just confined to this place. It feels like it's attached to me. I've stopped sleeping. Every time I close my eyes, I see those glowing eyes in the window, staring into my soul. I don't know what it wants, but I'm scared to find out. If anyone has any idea how to stop this, please help me. I just hope it already isn't too late for me. Alright, that's the end of the first story. On to the next. Whispers of the One-Eyed King. I tossed another log onto the fire, watching the flames throw wild shadows across the walls of our rented cabin. Outside, the winter wind howled through the pine trees, making the windows rattle. Perfect weather for ghost stories. "Your turn, Aiden," Sophia said, pulling her blanket tighter around her. I settled deeper into my armchair, knowing exactly which story I wanted to tell. The wild hunt had been on my mind ever since Cousin Jordan's call last week. Since we're right in the middle of Yule right now, I've got the perfect story, I said as I watched their faces in the firelight. Ever hear about what happened to Luna Chang? Oh God, the occult blogger? Olivia leaned forward, her eyes wide. My sister swears she knows the real story. Everyone thinks they know the real story, Noah scoffed from his spot on the couch. I heard she froze to death. I shook my head. No. Let me tell you how it really happened. I paused, realizing I needed to set the stage properly. First, though, you all know what Yule is, right? When they shook their heads, I continued, falling into the familiar rhythm of storytelling. Yule is this ancient midwinter festival, 12 days and nights, starting with the winter solstice. The old Norse people believed it was when the barrier between worlds was the thinnest. They'd feast, light fires to chase away the darkness, and they'd make offerings to their gods. But it was also the most dangerous time of year, mostly because that was when Odin led the wild hunt. The thing with the ghosts? Sophia pulled her blanket around her even tighter as she asked. More than just ghosts, I lowered my voice, letting the howling wind outside add atmosphere. During Yule, Odin himself rides across the winter sky, leading an army of the dead. And if you see them, I let the tension build. If you see them, you're marked. You either join the hunt, die on the spot, or go mad. There is no escape once the hunt marks you as one of their own. That's what happened to Luna, right? Olivia asked. I smiled grimly. Well, that's one version. I told them how Luna was like so many others who get interested in the old ways. Starting with mythology podcasts, then online forums about runes and city or magic. But for her, it became more than just interest. It became an obsession. She spent hours studying the old texts about the wild hunt, about how Odin rides during Yule to collect worthy souls. That's when she first heard about the children of Yggdrasil. They weren't like other online pagan communities, I explained, watching their faces in the firelight. They claimed they could teach people to spirit walk, to leave their bodies behind and travel to other realms. Their leader, Asher, said that during the Yule, skilled practitioners could safely join the wild hunt through astral projection. I told them about video meetings and how Luna would argue with Asher. That's not how it works, she'd insist during one session. The old stories say you can't just safely observe. If you see the hunt, you're part of it forever. That's what I want. I want to truly join, not just project. I can still picture Asher's face in the archived video, his silver-streaked beard caught in the blue light of his desk as he smiled. Patience, young one. The physical body must be prepared or else it will be destroyed by the power of the hunt. That's why we're developed like this method. We must start with spirit walking. Hold up, Olivia interrupted my story. That's not how I heard it. My sister said she was actually an investigation blogger trying to expose them as frauds. And I heard the group was running some kind of financial scam and Luna found out about it. Noah added. I held up my hand. Let me finish. It was the night of this winter solstice. I described how Luna had decided she wouldn't wait any longer. During the Yule ceremony video call, she broke from the group's ritual, performing her own invocation to Odin. Asher tried to stop her, warning her that she wasn't ready. Her body wasn't prepared. The storm was fierce when she ran into the night, ignoring the frantic DMs to come back. The snow was so thick that she could barely see. Nothing but the white curtain of snow. She saw them, the riders on ghostly horses, hounds with glowing eyes, and at their head, a figure in a wide-brim hat, holding a spear that gleamed like starlight. She stood, frozen in the presence of the ancient god, as he raised his spear and called from the old magic. Luna's skin became pale, couldn't even move. Blood began to run out of her ears, and then her eyes. Aiden, why do you always have to make it gross? Sophia exclaimed. I leaned forward, my voice dropping lower. My cousin Jordan saw her that night. He was driving home on Highway 19. Says the snow cleared for just a moment. He saw the riders in the sky. Says one of them looked just like Luna, but her face. I shuddered, remembering Jordan's pale face when he told me. Says her face was both terrified and triumphant. That's bullshit, Noah insisted. The FBI found evidence of cryptocurrency fraud. The whole spirit walking thing was just cover. Luna probably found out too much. Then how do you explain what happened to Margus Rodriguez last Yule? He was... I'm sorry, they flubbed up their grammar or something. They wrote a word that wasn't a word. I assume he meant he was doing film work. So that's just what we're going to go with. Sorry, let's continue. He was doing film work out by Wagner's farm. Saw the whole hunt ride last year. Clear as day, said Luna, right there among them. Her hair streaming behind her like snow. That photographer, Olivia added reluctantly. She was doing Winter Storm Project out there last year. Got footage, weird lights in the storm. When she enhanced the images, she shuddered. Said one of the shapes looked like a woman running through the air. The wind howled louder outside our cabin. Something thumped on the roof. Oh, God, Sophia whispered. We all froze as heavy footsteps crossed above us. The scraping sound, something being dragged. Noah jumped up. I'm checking it out. Don't you dare open that door, Olivia whispered. The footsteps stopped, and then came a tremendous crash outside the window. Everyone screamed. A massive pile of snow slid off the roof past the window. In the distance, a snowplow's lights flickered through the trees. Jesus Christ, Sophia laughed shakily. I nearly had a heart attack. Just the snow, Noah said, sitting back down. Nothing supernatural about it. But I couldn't tear my eyes away from the window. Did you see something in the snow for a second? Don't you dare, Olivia warned. I'm making hot chocolate with brandy, lots of brandy, and then we're telling nice, safe stories about summertime. I'm sorry, I've had to redo this because it's really funny. But we all soon found ourselves drawn to the window, watching the swirling snow, wondering what really happened to Luna Chen. Some say the cult killed her. Some say she froze to death in the storm. But on wild winter nights, especially during Yule, people driving past Wagner's farm still report seeing rides in the snow. Sometimes, if you look carefully, you just might see a woman among them. Sometimes running, sometimes riding, but always with the same expression of terror mixed with triumph, as if she finally found what she was looking for, only to realize too late what it would cost her. My cousin Jordan saw her last winter, I said softly, unable to stop myself from finishing the story. I said she looked right at him as the hunt passed overhead. Said her eyes. I stopped in that moment, remembering how Jordan's voice is shaken. What about her eyes? Sophia asked. She said they were crying tears of blood, and that she was smiling. The wind picked up again, whisking through the trees, and somewhere in the storm, we could have sworn we heard hoofbeats. Well, that's all for today. I'm sorry if the reading was a little sloppy, but it is my first time doing one of these. If you would like another one like this, please leave it in the comments section below. And I do hope you enjoyed this video today. If you did, I would really appreciate you leaving a like on the video. And maybe subscribe if you want to stick around or you enjoy my other content. Either way, I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you for tuning in, and I will catch everybody in the next one.